Hey everyone, this is a psychic reading for December 2021. So let's see what's coming up for us. So for December, it's a very kind of crazy month energetically. It's almost like everybody's head is spinning. There's a lot of this stirred up energy that came from the previous month, actually last month in my prediction video. I talked about how there's this new energy coming to Earth and it's like this angelic energy, even though it is angelic and positive, and it's a energetic upgrade. Um, it's causing a lot of chaos because of sometimes you have to let things go in order for new things to come in, and so there's a lot of shedding of old skin, and because of that, it's like the pot has been stirred. Um, there's also a lot of division going on, but it's also being, you know, filtered through this angelic vibration, this energy upgrade that's been coming to Earth that I talked about in my previous November prediction video. Um, so that is really changing the way that we're reacting to these inflammatory conditions, these divisive conditions. There's been a whole bunch of trials this month. Even Galen Maxwell is coming up. She was related, or she worked with Jeffrey Epstein. And so, like, I also mentioned how last month there's like this ugliness kind of coming to light. People are looking at the ugliness in the world and that being more in the forefront of people's mind. And so that's been happening. There's been all these trials, the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, the active shooter. Well, people call him an active shooter. He said he was defending himself. I don't really care which side you take on that. I'm just reporting um, what I'm seeing for the month. But anyways, there was that. Someone with their car ran over like 40, 50 people and like killed like, I don't know, like 8 people or something. Some of them were children in the hospital. It's been a very divisive month, yet somehow we've been holding it together. And I think that's because of this angelic vibration. That's what I'm calling it, angelic. It's not literally from angels, it's coming from beings not on earth, but it's not necessarily angels, but that's just what I'm calling it, because that's kind of describes its energy. So anyways, there's this confusion, there's just like this stirred up pot of just change happening, just rapid change happening because of what happened last month. But in December coming up here in a couple days, I'm seeing the reaction to that being confusion and people not really being able to find their conclusions. Like people may be like, oh, this is what I believe in, but then there's this, and now I don't know where I stand anymore. And so there's a lot of that going on. So one thing that I also wanted to mention was that there's another psychic who says that there's uh, energy that came to the planet last month on the 19th specifically. Um, and that was about the same time period that I was seeing that there was going to be like this heavy energy. Somebody asked, ironically, about the 11th. A subscriber asked me about the 11th because they felt that that was a time of importance. And I looked into it, and what I was getting was that the 11th to the 28th was this time frame of something going on there. And it turns out that the 19th is literally dead center, right in between the 11th and the 28th, which I just found that ironic. And sometimes energy before something happens can affect you. Your aura can sometimes have the energy of what's about to happen to you before it happens to you. And there's even been scientific studies that have shown that people's nervous systems can react to something before it actually happens. And the collective consciousness can kind of be aware of something before the event happens. Like 9/11 is an example people like to talk about. Anyways, moving on to December 2021, people are trying to figure out what to do, where to stand. there's a lot of what I've been hearing called FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt. Um, for the US, when I tuned into the US, I saw it as this red energy, and it was a lot of people pushing through, trying to get things done, grinding, the daily grind kind of is a little, you know, almost aggressive, but I wouldn't say aggressive. That's a little too strong of a word. But definitely grinding away, and this sense of individuality, people, the individual, like what you need as an individual is important, and everybody's trying to kind of get what they need for themselves for December. Within the Northwest, like the northern west part of the US, I saw this white kind of energy, and it was like a deer in the headlights. So within the Northwest, there may be people who are kind of not grounded so much during the month of December, um, and just a little, up in the clouds. And so these people could have experience of sudden crashes back down to earth, down to reality again. So that's something to watch out for. And if you're dealing with people who may be kind of idealistic or kind of have their heads in the clouds about certain subjects, just like don't worry about it, and time will tell for them. So moving on to what I saw in Russia, and I don't do all the countries, I just do the big countries, are the ones that just stand out to me energetically. Russia seemed purple. It seemed like the energy of it was purple, like the aura of it, you could say. Purple, doing well and self-contained, not really too much conflict with other countries for the month of December, and kind of like it's set on cruise control. It's not really worrying too much about anything, not striving for anything, just kind of cruise control, going with it. Um, China, I saw China as this green vibration, and it had to do with this energy of like young and coming up, kind of like a youthful type of mentality, like a young adult. Um, Lots of looking forward to the future and enthusiasm, very forward looking type of energy coming from China right now. Very optimistic, but I do see this as being kind of like overly optimistic, and like things may not be as great as hoped for, but lots of enthusiasm regardless coming out of China. So that's just like the general vibration of that area that could be affecting the people that live there. So India, and I wasn't really sure if it was actually India or just the general area of India, maybe the Middle East, that general area of geography. Um, as well as like northern, like the North Pole, Greenland type of area of the globe. Just those general types of areas. I was seeing this kind of like black energy that had to do with, when I tuned into it, it was like tightening, restrictive, kind of militant grip on things, mechanical in nature, not so humane. Um, and I kind of got that as like desperate times call for desperate measures type of situation here. And there's like this energy of separating from the rest of the world that has something to do with strategy, very strategic and planning. Um, and I do see this as something that's kind of like we're working against the rest of the world, and kind of like a negative, like we're not working with the unity. We're like kind of like this dark project going on that I don't necessarily think is going to be publicly known, but it's possible that we might hear something in the news about it. But I kind of think it's mostly like underground. So I did see that going on for the month of December. But I also got that this will not be working out for the long term. It's kind of like a desperate sort of lashing out of like a last sort of, like if somebody's in a situation where they're like, oh no, I need to do something, and this is like their last scramble trying to get things figured out, trying to make things work before they kind of just dissolve. Um, so, anyways, Africa, I there's something about being locked down without help and them riding out the storm. I think this has to do with the new COVID variant, probably. I saw there like a leader, sad, leader of the country who's sad, and there's nothing he could really do, so he's just kind of sitting there, and there's like resources running out, and it's like the doors have been closed to the public, and people just not having access to the things that they need. It's just like kind of like a shutdown, and it's like people are dying, and there's just nothing anyone can do about it, and it was kind of sad. Um, like they're just not getting any help from anyone is what I was getting. So, anyways, Europe, I got that there may be possibilities with electricity, and that's what I got for Europe. So Biden, when I tuned into Joe Biden, I got that he's riding waves of confusion with the planet, but he's not doing bad. I actually saw him not doing bad at all, doing pretty decent. Not too much going on, but he's just riding the wave, kind of like cruise control, kind of like Russia type of vibe. Kamala Harris, I didn't see her being in the spotlight. I saw Joe Biden being more in the spotlight, but still just on cruise control. Maybe responding to events going on, but not really like making any significant changes or presence in the world. So when I tuned into December 2021, what I got was that the month will be good for playing it safe, staying home. Very home-like energies are good for December. Keeping close to those who you are already close with. Simple yet reliable resources, and just doing things that are simple and reliable is important and going to serve you well for December. I got that December is going to be bad for jumping off the high dive and bad for adventure. So I know I've said that other months has been good for those. This is not good for that. So my advice for the month of December would be to just take it easy and allow the energies to settle because they're stirred up and your body is kind of trying to catch up to all the craziness. I think last month I was saying how it's like the body is not very active, but the mind is like hyperactive. And so the spirit is also stirred up or hyperactive because there's so much new energy vibration of the planet, etc. So the body is trying to catch up, and your spirit is a little bit ahead of your body. It's kind of already got the gist of what's going on, but your body, it takes a while for the body to adjust to things and to feel comfortable with these new frequencies and these new energies. Um, so like if like in a dream or you're astral projecting or whatever, it's not as difficult as it is in your body, you know, in this sort of reality, if you want to call it that. That's where things get stirred up more, and so you have to give it some time for that to slowly wind back down, for the energies to settle back down, so that life will be, you know, more easy, more less chaotic feeling. So I did do a little bit of reading into Bitcoin. I don't think I'm going to include that in this month reading, although I see that December may not be that great and it may be better to hold and wait before trying to sell. Although this is not investment advice whatsoever, I could be completely wrong on all of this. Um, I will make a separate video about that after this. Thank you for watching and have a great day.